think we all had fun, not only the coaching staff, but also the players. And as I said before, it shows that if you work hard, that you can be successful. Next thing I have is a list of some memorable moments of my own and also of the coaching staff. First of all, I think the biggest things were the first game of the season against Lorraine Catholic when we were down. It was getting dark outside. I was trying to talk to the other coach about, if we don't finish this inning, can we play this game, make this last inning and a half up some other day? And he told me, that's not going to work. You know what the rule is. The game's over. So all of a sudden we came to life for some reason. I have no idea what it was, but that's just the kind of kids that we have. Then we played Elyria High in a doubleheader. In the first game again we were losing. Come back and win. Admiral King, we're down big, and we come back and win. Amherst, regular season, we're down again in the top of the seventh, and we came back and win. And finally, probably the most memorable moment that I've ever had as a coach, and maybe even as a player myself, was our tournament game against Amherst in 10 innings. I tell you, that was just unbelievable. It had to be the best game that I was ever a part of, and I think a lot of other people that were there and listen on the radio, whatever it may be, I heard many great things from people. But on top of that, we have some funny things. I remember Jason Holstein tripping over third base, I believe, falling on his chin. E6, as he's known, or automatic. Coach Grimm's lucky gloves, the little pink gloves that the guys thought they were lucky gloves, and when they put them on, all of a sudden they turn the switch on, and next thing you know, we're winning the game. The Rozanskis and Elwell, and I don't know if Holstein was with them or not. The day we're going out to Berea, Thursday night, they got lost. We didn't see them for 2 hours. I'm trying to call cell phones, parents' pagers, everything, trying to find out where these kids are. They got lost. They were in Cleveland by Tower City instead of south. Our first loss at Westlake, the sun field where you couldn't see a thing. Felt like we were playing on the sun and not the sun in the sky. The doubleheader, as I mentioned before, against Elyria, which I really thought brought the team together. Freshman Ryan Fearvin pitching a no-hitter against Oberlin. Ryan DeFranco's first ever home run. Ben Elwell, he was so upset when we played Amherst in the regular season to come off the field. He said, I don't know what's going on, Coach. I just keep booting the ball all over the place. And I said, Ben, every time you make a mistake, you owe me something. Well, Ben came up with 2 home runs in that game, which helped get us back into it. And then I believe Brandon Grimm scored the game winner in that game. The JV's first win, and their win streak in general at 5. Jason Holstein starting our comeback against Admiral King. Brought him off the bench. He sat there the entire day, came off, got a hit, and helped us win that game. Jolly Green, Ben Elwell, his pitching debut against Wellington. I thought, what's that guy's name in Major League? Vaughn. He was all over the place. But thank God to Ryan DeFranco, who came through with a big double play. Don Rozanski's comeback. The last game of the year, Don came back from appendectomy, problem with his appendix, came back and started his first varsity game. Really meant a lot. Shane Burnsworth filling in for Don when Shane had no idea that he was going to be the starting catcher throughout the entire season. He filled in very, very well for Don. The entire team's superstition about not washing their uniforms. The locker room absolutely smelled. The uniforms looked horrible, but that was a superstition. And I know I have a lot of those. You can ask my wife and my coaching staff. Doug Gerber, for some reason, talking to the pitching machine. He kept giving the pitching machine names. Every time the ball went by him, I think he was mad at the machine giving him some names, so I think he was a little mad. All of you who got your first varsity hits, and there was many of you, the sectional crown, which was the first one since the late 80s here at Midview, and of course, that was my first one as a head coach. I've been here 3 years at Midview, and it was a challenge just getting to play in the district semifinals, even though what happened, but be happy where you got. And finally, the game against Southview, where the entire team showed kindness and consoled me when I was having some trouble with my family. So as you can see, not only myself, but coaching staff and players, I'm sure, have a lot of memories from this season, and they will definitely last a lifetime. And you parents can definitely be proud of the kids you raised. This was a great group of kids to work with. And hopefully you guys will remember those memories as well. You can tell that the other coaches don't like to talk. Lose my voice by the end of the night. Okay, now I'd like to introduce the players, and just a couple points, because I talk about them all night. We might be here until about 11 o'clock, so I'm just going to name a couple things about each of the players. And when you guys come up here, please remain standing, because we have a couple things to give out that you're not getting from the coaches right now. First of all, Ryan Fairban, our only freshman on the team. Ryan did a great job for us as a 14-year-old coming into the varsity level. I know at first, when he first came on the team, he's probably a little shy, but with this group of guys that we have this year, they did a great job welcoming him to the team. He was 4-4 on the mound with a 2.13 ERA, in the top 10 in the county. And of course, his left arm will be counted on drastically in the program for the next 3 years. Brandon Grimm, a sophomore. Brandon played a little bit of everywhere for us this year. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't really sure where we were going to stick him, but we found third base, second base, right field, basically his top 3 positions, and he did a great job defensively at all 3 positions for us. Brandon batted .314 on the year with an on-base average of .485. And he will be another one we'll count on a lot for next year. Next, Chucky Noga. Probably one of the most fierce competitors on the team. Chucky gives his, Coach DeFranco always said 110%. This kid gives 210%. He always goes all out. He's one of the greatest kids to have on your team. If I had a team of 13 at Chucky, I think we do as well as we did this year, and a lot of the guys were just like Chucky was this year with a great attitude. He didn't get to play very much this year, but Chucky will be counted on drastically next year when he becomes a senior. Dave Kirsch, another junior. Dave also played a little bit of everywhere for us, even in practice. He caught a little bit, but after he got a foul tip back in the midsection, broke his cup, I was afraid to put him back there again. He was a little cautious of whether to get behind the dish ever again. But he did a great job for us, not only at third, left field, right field, center field, and he also pitched for us a lot well, not much this year, but we will look for him to pitch for us a lot next year. He batted .321 on the year, and he had 12 RBIs. And again, he will be one of our main players for next year. These 4 gentlemen right here will be back with us next year, and we look for great things to happen. Now I want to bring up the seniors. As you can tell, we have many of them this year. The first senior, Jason Holstein, a.k.a. Doodle. Jason didn't get a lot of playing time this year. We had talked at the beginning of the year, and I told him what we had to offer for him, and his main interest was getting better day to day. And I can actually say that Jason did a heck of a job from day 1 to the last game of the season. He really started coming around towards the end. Even though he batted .250 in limited appearances, like I said, he did a giant leapfrog from the beginning of the year. Plus, he had a great attitude, and we loved having him around, doing other things like keeping score. He already told me that I didn't put his name on the back of the program for scorekeeper. So, Doug Gerber. This kid, I'll tell you what, he was a handful. Last game of the season, I'm sitting there. I think it's Mr. Rosansky was sitting over on the sideline. Mr. McCoy, I vaguely remember. But I look out at this kid, and he's running on the field. He's got a piece of caution tape on his leg. What is he doing? I had to run out on the field and take the piece of caution tape. This is the same kid who would roll himself up in the dugout window. I don't know why, but he did. Same kid that would talk to the pitching machine. But he has a great attitude. We primarily used him as a DH this year. He had a lot of great moments for us. He had 10 hits and also had an on-base percentage of .422. Don Rosansky. Back in December, when we were in indoor, I looked at this kid and I said, boy, I wish I had this kid for 4 years. He was throwing the ball like you wouldn't believe, from home plate to second base to third base. He was hitting the ball through batting cages, breaking the nets, putting holes in the drywall. It was unbelievable watching this kid hit. And I don't know probably who felt worse, either myself or him, when he got sick and went to the hospital. And I'm not saying that from the player standpoint, I'm saying that from a friend standpoint. It was tough visiting him in the hospital when I knew that he wanted to be on the field with his buddies. And even though he did play limited, he batted .414 in his appearances. As I said, the best thing that happened to Don was he got to start the last game of the season versus Avon. At a catcher's position, which is his main position, and it was great to see him back in there. And this kid has a lot of inspiration for all of us since he battled through his illness and still made it back. He came to practices with these kids. He came to the games. He was always there, always near. He was always someone you could count on, talk to, and get the rest of them motivated. Shane Burnsworth. As I said before, Shane came into the year. We were planning on using him as a pitcher, probably third base, first base. We were going to even try him in right field. And then when Don went down, he and Justin Drummond took control of the catching duties. Next thing you know, Shane was catching game after game, even double headers. And even in double headers, I would ask Shane, "You okay?" I'm fine. I'm an Iron Man. And he did a great job for us, and he did a lot better than I had expected, since Shane is not an everyday catcher. He really filled the hole for us. He did a great job of handling the pitchers, and I know that Shane wanted to do a little better at the plate. One great thing I can say about Shane also is that he had an on-base percentage of .418, and he was a great addition to that battery catcher-pitcher. He worked very well with the pitchers. Dan Rosansky. Dan played third base, first base, and also pitched for us. Dan was 4-0 on the mound. He had a 1.37 ERA. I believe he was in the top 3 in the county. And at one time, he was #1 in both Lorain County and Cuyahoga County. And don't blame me for the stats in the Plain Dealer, by the way, because I fax them every week. They didn't get them in. He batted .271 for us. He really started out doing really well. He had a little down period in the middle of the year, and then towards the end of the year, he really started hitting the ball. Might not have been hits, but he got some sacrifice flies for us. He moved runners, especially in the Amherst game. He came up with a couple of big positions, and he got the runs home for us. And he also had 18 RBIs on the year. Ryan DeFranco. This kid's played for me for 3 years. And the first 2 years he was a utility player, and I had him all over the place. The kid never knew where he was going to be from game to game. This year, finally, I put him in center field. He also played a little bit of left field, and he just absolutely played flawlessly in the outfield, diving catches, throwing runners out that were trying to get greedy, going to home plate, second base, third base, double plays. He had a great year in the outfield. He also batted .338, 16 RBIs, 12 stolen bases, and an on-base percentage of .472. Scott McCoy. By the way, if you didn't see his slippers, you might want to take a look. They're cute. When Scott came this year, I had to tell him that we were going to make a switch this year and move him from shortstop to second base, and I was hoping that he would agree to it, because I thought that was in the best interest of the team to do so. He agreed, which made Ben our shortstop. Scott went to second base, and though the two of them played so well together, they played so good together, they communicated with one another. Scott improved his defensive game. He made improvements on his offensive game from last year. He had a fielding percentage of .938, which is drastically higher than he had last year. He batted .377. He had 18 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, and an on-base percentage of .488. Ben Elwell. He gave himself the name E6, or somebody did. We did it. Routine. This was Ben's first year playing varsity ball, and he was our shortstop. He had a fantastic year. People couldn't believe that we had a 6'6" shortstop. He got the balls that a lot of people wouldn't even think about getting to. He made great defensive plays. I know he'll be the first one to say, no, I didn't. I made errors. I made this. I made that. It doesn't matter. The second half of the season, he really came through for us, not only defensively, but also offensively. He led the team with a .429 batting average, led the team with a .593 on base percentage, had 21 RBIs, 11 steals, and 3 home runs. Finally, Andy Blazik. Andy had a great year on the mound. He had 4 wins as well, with 1 big save against Amherst in the regular season. He batted .388 overall. He had 28 RBIs, 31 steals, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. And Andy did a great job. He's started for us for 2 years, and he'll be another one that we'll drastically miss, as well as the rest of the seniors. Now, before we go into the next thing, I want to show these guys. I didn't want to hand them out because I wanted them to be surprised they haven't seen these yet. We went out and ordered some plaques for the team. It says 2000 Midview Baseball Accomplishments, 2000 Sectional Champions, 2000 District Semifinalists, most wins in Division I in Lorain County, Amherst Sectional Finals, 10-7, 10 innings, Lakewood District Semis. It has a score on there. I'm sorry I had to do it. Record overall, 16-6, 9-3 in the conference. And then it has a list of the games, as well as a picture and the names of all the players and coaches. And each one of them will get one of those as well. Also, I'm going to go away from what I had written up here for. I'd like to introduce people that really did some behind the scenes. They were in the dugout. our scorekeepers. We had actually 5 scorekeepers at the varsity level, Randy Camp, Mr. DeFranco, Troy DeFranco, Michelle Noble, Julie Busick, and Jesse Verona. I'd like them to come up also. I have a plaque for them and also some gift certificates as well for their help this year. Finally, she might think that I forgot her. Linda Krishenko, would you come up, please? We also have a gift certificate for you. And I felt bad not earlier in the year giving you a sweatshirt so that you would stay warm on the sidelines. Thank you very much. Coach DeFranco was trying to grab you there.
Hey, you there?
This year we talked about also when we do the all-conference voting and all-county voting, for some reason the kids only get certificates. So we decided the certificates, most of the time what we do with certificates, we throw them in a drawer, we forget about them. We decided to do something special for these kids that were nominated and won. First of all, in first team all-conference, in Lorain County Conference. We had 4 players that made first team all conference this year, and what I did was I have a bronze ball and glove with them, and it says on it 2000 first team LCC, and I'd like the following guys to come up here: Ryan DeFranco, Andy Blazik, Ben Elwell, and Scott McCoy. These are first team. Second team, all conference. A couple of our young guys made it. Freshman Ryan Firabin and sophomore Brandon Grimm. And honorable mention, Dan Rosansky. Next, all county, and I didn't get a chance to talk to the guys. I talked to Andy. I didn't get a chance to talk to Ben the other day when they had their senior breakfast. But we had 2 players on first team all county as well, and we got them a statue, baseball player statue, a silver guy here, Ben Elwell and Andy Blazik. First team all county. Now, my last thing, I also had to get something, as I said to you, to my 2 coaches on the varsity level. They really did a fantastic job for me this year, and if it wasn't for them, I would have had a hard time doing the things I did this year. So about a month ago or so, I got the kids together, had them come in, purchased these bats from Blue Rose Limited in Columbus, Ohio, and I put our accomplishments on it along with the high school name and Midview baseball, and had them sign it for our coaching staff.
Alright, the next award we have is the JV Sportsmanship Award. And sportsmanship is something I hold very highly, some all these coaches hold very highly, pretty much above everything else. You know, being a good sport, being a sportsman is more important than winning. Right? We're out there to have fun, we're out there to be good sports. This award personally to these guys means a lot. And this player that's receiving it this year is totally deserving of it. Never would argue with the umps, always played hard, always played great, always would be congratulatory if we won or if we lost, and he's just a great example for the other players of how you should play baseball, how you should be a good sport. And the JV Sportsmanship Award this year goes to Mike Krishenko.
Also, guys, to go along with your first team conference accomplishments, Mr. Hughes has put your certificate into a nice picture frame for you. Scott, Andy, Ben, and Ryan, come on up, and also Brandon, Ryan, and Dan Rosansky. One last gift that I'd like to give out is Coach Newman here to my right is my paid assistant, and to his right is Jesse Grimm, who has volunteered his time for us all year during conditioning, during Thursday night baseball, during games, taking work off for us and really helping out, giving us enough coaches for the base pass and also a coach in the dugout, which I think is very vital to a team. So what I did was I went out and got him some gift certificates. I was going to get him some Dome's back pills because he lifts too much weight and he hurts his back all the time. But I decided to be serious for once. He's a nutrition buff, so I went to GNC and got a gift certificate for him from GNC. After he takes all those healthy vitamins, he can go to Applebee's to eat the greasy food, and then followed by the movie and eat all that buttery popcorn and regular pop. So Beth, he has to take you out a night out in the town. Was that Mike Worley I saw? There he is. Coach Franco will fill you in here on Mike.
All right, another one of our freshmen who just walked in. Did you ride your bike? No. You didn't? This kid, he riding his bike. I'll be driving to practice on Saturday or something, and I see someone riding his bike, and he lives over off, out by, what is that? FN, what's your gas station? What's that called? KMB. All the way out there, off on, right off by Robson Road, and he'll ride his bike all the way out to practice. All right, so a couple times I pull over on the side of the road, come on, throw your bike in the car, take him off to practice. But this kid, he was dedicated. Hey, if he couldn't find a ride, even though he should have called one of his friends and got a ride, but when he couldn't get a ride, he would ride his bike to practice, so I give him a lot of credit for that. But Mike, come on up here. He was a freshman this year. He's getting a pin and a certificate. Mike did a nice job for us. He pitched a little bit at the beginning of the year. Played a lot of second base for me. He has a great glove, great job. He was 4th on our team with a .519 on base percentage, and he was 5th with 9 stolen bases. We look forward to having Mike in the program. Next year, I believe he should be getting his driver's license, so that will be a step up. Congratulations, Mike.
hope I didn't embarrass you. I'm glad you showed up. Late is better than never. Okay, did you guys want to talk before I get into awards?
Yes. Yes.
I'm sure we're going to take a grilling here in a minute.
Say that.
Ben. My routine means all right, we had a lot of fun this season. All right, this season was a lot of fun. The coaches put a lot of time into it. I know it seemed like we didn't like them sometimes when they made us run all the time, those 20-minute runs, but it all paid off. We did a lot of fundraisers, and they gave all the money right back to us. And during all those times, we had a little bit of fun. And we had a little bit of fun, like when a couple kids TP'd Mr. Bansick's car, and trying to watch Doug slide into second base. And then at the Rockathon, when I don't think anyone really got hurt while you were playing baseball, but at the Rockathon, a few people might have got a little injured from Andy and Ben spiking the ball on them. And then Mr. Bansick, I don't know what he was thinking. He tried to catch a pop-up in practice. And I think he broke his finger. But he dislocated, but and then, well, he stole most of our speech when he was talking about the good times, like when Doodle fell around third and Mr. Grimm wearing his pink Lucky gloves. And I think we may have had the only time where our game might have been canceled because of bees. And then at Brookside, there were no benches. We had to sit on the ground. And then when Chucky got in, his running display in his high knee in pregame, that was pretty good. And then I think Ryan, who didn't make an error all year, went into the All-Star game and tried to catch a fly ball, and they hit him in the head.
It was in warm-up.
Well, yeah, there were only one of us that played, but it was a good time. And yeah, me and Ben got lost and showed up 5 minutes before the game. We didn't even get to take warm-ups with him. But but it was fun, and thanks. And now I'll turn it over to Andy.
Alright, there were a lot of serious moments in our season though, but we ended up with a 16-6 record, which was the best record in Lorraine County for a Division I team. We made the district semifinals for the first time on a Midview team since the 1980s. And we'd like to thank the coaches for all the commitment they put in, time in practices and games, and going through the drills over and over and over. And Mr. Bansick going out every day and preparing the field, even if it was raining. He'd be out there raking away, hoping to play. We'd like to thank from the stat books that we got. That took a lot of time and effort. They were really nice. I'll turn it over to Ryan.
I'm sorry, but I don't have a speech or a song for you tonight. Why are you clapping? I sing really good, really well. But it was a great season. I've been on Varsity 3 years, and Mr. Bansick and I had some tough years the last couple years. And I think he can agree. It just wasn't too much fun when you had quarreling between the members of the team, and you weren't winning. I earned. And it just wasn't too much fun. But I think this year made up for it. And it was a lot of fun, and I thank these coaches because they put a lot of time into everything. The stat books are huge. I mean, look at all these plaques he got us and all these certificates, and I mean, they just put in so much time. I drive by the school I don't know, 7 o'clock at night or something after practice, and Mr. Vancic would be up here raking the field. And then he would stop over at my house afterwards and see how I'm doing. And I'm like, don't you have a wife? You know? And he usually get home about 9 o'clock every night, and I thank his wife for putting up with it, and thank him for putting so much time into it. But Mr. Grimm, we'll start with him. He's quite a character. I've known him growing up on my street all my life, and he's pretty intimidating, as my brother was saying. But as Mr. Banquet said, he volunteered his time. He doesn't even get a paycheck. And he was here every time he could. He was here almost every practice. He was here every game. And often he'd have to, go off work early in order to make it and stuff. And we thank him so much for that. He was, a great guy. And if something was wrong with their swing, he wasn't afraid to tell us about it. Ryan, get up there. Next time you're going to get a hitter, you're going to mess with this. So then next time I get up, I get a home run, So next, Coach Newman, this was his first year with us. And God bless him for coming into with a group like us, because we're not that easy to come into. We're quite goofy, if you guys haven't figured that out, and strange. And he was always so cool, calm, and collective. He never really lost his temper, except Andy Blazak, who never gets in trouble in his whole life, was goofing around in practice. And Coach Newman he's hitting a fly ball, he stops, looks at him. I'm like, Andy. He looks over at Coach Newman. Coach Newman said, "Start running and don't look back." And Andy's like, "You talking to me?" So he was running. But no, Coach Newman never really lost his temper or anything. And if Coach Banquet or Coach Grimm, they kind of got wired up a little bit sometimes. Yeah, Coach Banquet never got wired up. But you could always go and talk to Coach Newman, because he'd always be calm. And Coach Banquet. This guy is a heck of a coach. He knows what he's talking about, and he puts you before him at all times. For instance, when Don was in the hospital for years, it seemed like, he was up there almost every night. Even though he might not be able to play on the team, he was still there as a friend. And when my dad passed away, he was right there at my house. He would always put us before himself. Up on the field and doing everything. I mean, look at everything we get and all the recognition. It's all thanks to him. And even though he did have family problems, and he still has family problems, this year, he still was at every practice, every game. And I told him, I said, we have coaches here that can handle that stuff. He said, no, I'll be here. And that just shows you the type of guy he is. And we like to thank him for that. And thank you all the coaches for a great season. And we got you a little something for each one of you. And while you guys open them, we'll call it the Sack Girls, and then we'll explain them. We would just like to thank Sack Girls, and they were always on our bench. And if I couldn't get anybody else to get loud and yell weird things because our guys were too embarrassed to yell with me, they would yell with me, and they were part of the reason for our Amherst comeback. But hold on. And we just like to thank them if they could come up, Shelly, Julie, and Jesse. Well, they also made us goodie bags for one of our games. I forget which one it was, but that was really nice. Let's start with Mr. Grimm. He has a what's that? Does that fit or not? If it doesn't fit, we have the receipt. So yeah, did you hear other guys? We also got him a stress reliever. I don't know why we did, just because we did. Okay, we just got him a stress reliever because of all the times we stress him out.
Before you go any farther, you sure this isn't for Coach Grimm?
No.
I open this up and it says bald agger or something like that. Gone today, hair tomorrow. Now I got hair. He doesn't have any hair. There you go.
If we would have given it to Mr. Grimm, he has a bat and he's a little bit bigger than Coach Bansick. But no, we gave it to him because he's probably going to lose all his hair with these next guys coming up because they're just about as crazy as we are. So, but they're good guys though. Coach Newman, we got him a swing groover.
Yeah.
Do you have one of those?
No, I don't.
All right.
But I know lots of people like to use one.
Dave Kirsch. And we also got him a golf ball that has a life jacket around it, so next time he hits it into the water, he can get it back. And for Coach Bansick, we got him a gift certificate to the Unicorn, and we got him 2 hats. One for your wife and one for you, because you guys always look so cute when you match in Indian stuff. That's all. It's been fun, guys.
Good job, Ryan.
I've been telling Jesse all along that I want to lose my hair. I'm tired of cutting. I want to go bald. Why didn't you give me stuff that made me bald? I'd appreciate that. I'm just kidding. Okay, now we have our special awards that we give out every year. And first of all, Mr. Hughes is going to be giving out academic awards. I know this is one later than you're supposed to. Sorry about that. As he's coming up, I have a couple announcements that I want to do now before the end of the banquet. First of all, on Monday, June 19th, Ben Elwell will be playing in what we call the NEO BCA All-Star Game at Jacobs Field. He was chosen as Lorain County, Cuyahoga County representative. He will be starting at shortstop, believe me, because I will be coaching him. That will be at 11 o'clock in the morning. And if you would like to go, any of the players would like to go, I did get a hold of the Indians today, and I have 20 extra tickets. So if you'd like to go, that is 11 o'clock in the morning on June 19th. And your family, I have enough tickets, I think, to go around for your family, Ben. And it's going to be a great honor. I was nominated by Lorain County Coaches Association to coach that game. Also, I haven't received any word yet from the state, but I did nominate Ryan DeFranco and Andy Blazik for Academic All-Ohio. If either of you two or both of you do win that award, I will get in touch with you. I'll just come over again at 9 o'clock, Ryan, if you don't mind. And finally, Andy Blazik will be auditioning his baseball skills this summer. I believe it's Akron, University of Akron. University of Akron in front of not only college coaches, but also pro scouts. And as a coaching staff, we'd like to wish him good luck. You never know what could come out of that. I know Andy wants to play at the University of Cincinnati, and I know the coach will be there, and I'm sure they'll have their eyes on you. Mr. Hughes.
I was just looking around here. I know I have the academic certificates to present, but I was looking back here and I noticed there's an award that's missing. I guess it's not going to be presented tonight, so I thought I might just go ahead and mention that anyways. This kind of goes along with what the guys have been saying about selfishness, devoted to the sport, and devoted to the kids. And that one award that's not back here is the Lorain County Conference Coach of the Year plaque for Mr. Bansick. So congratulations. All the time I hear from a number of people that, well, you treat student athletes special. Well, I agree. We treat student athletes special because they are special. And about 3 years ago, I started keeping some statistics that I could prove that they're special. They not only work hard after school, as is witnessed by our won-loss records, our championships over the last 3-4 years, but they also work extremely hard in the classroom. And you won't ever see this news in the paper. You'll just see the won-loss records. Like I said, the last 3 years I've been tracking this. This last spring sports season, we had 146 student athletes participating here at Midview. When we took a look at the grades for these folks, we had 87 of the 146 that were at a 3-point GPA or higher. Now that ends up being a 3.1 average GPA for our student athletes here at Midview during the spring. For the year, we had over 500 participants. And again, for the year, our average GPA is 3.1 for student athletes, a little bit better than a B average plus the won-loss records that we've had. And I'm very pleased to announce, taking a look at JV baseball and varsity baseball. Varsity baseball, we're a very strong 3.1 GPA. You guys had an outstanding won-loss record, but JVs didn't have quite a good won-loss record, but they won the GPA battle with a 3.2. Congratulations. This time I'd like to call the following individuals forward to receive a certificate for being 3.0 or above. You just hold your applause till we get through everyone, because there are quite a few. I would appreciate it. Ryan Fierbind. Brandon Grimm. Chucky Noga. Andy Blazik. Shane Burnsworth. Ryan DeFranco. Ben Elwell. Scott McCoy. Jim Newby. Justin Drummond. Joe Yorkowitz. Michael Worley. Nick Sinart. Todd Matthews. Thomas Long. Jared Lease. And Dan Bohannon.
Hey, buy it 6 study halls like you.
Congratulations.
By the way, you guys have received the ball and glove statues or the Andy or Ben with the baseball players. We have the boxes back here if you want to take the boxes with you for those, so they don't get damaged. Last thing we have for you tonight are the special awards. The special awards are voted on by the players themselves, except for the coaches award. And the first award is the sportsmanship award. And again, this goes to a player who has a lot of qualities. A player never complained whether or not he was playing. Even if he wasn't playing, he's always offering his help somewhere, inside the dugout, outside the dugout, whether it was carrying things for the game. When we didn't have a scorekeeper, he would see that the book was done by himself. When he first started out, as I said earlier tonight, at the beginning of the season, he saw where he was compared to other people, and he knew that he had to get better in order to play. So we're proud to give this award to Jason Holstein. Great job, Jay. Next award a real tight race. So what I did was I decided to take the Most Improved Award and do the Most Improved Award from last year to this year, and from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And one of these awards are given to a player that we feel made that leap from one year to the next, and of course the one that made drastic improvement during this current year. And the two of them that not only the coaching staff but also the players believe deserve this award for this year, Brandon Grimm, and from last year to this year, Scott McCoy. Yeah. Great job, you two. I expect you better next year, Grim. Did you hear that, Brandon?
Yeah, I got that.
All right, just making sure. All right, another award that we left off the back of the program. That was my fault. I apologize for it. It is the defensive award, defensive MVP. I think this was. This goes to the player that really excelled at the defensive end of the game. He's done that for the last 3 years as he played on the varsity level. He deserved it by making diving catches. He had a game where he just really had a bad day, came in, made some great diving catches for us. Other times earlier in the year, made some double plays. As I said before, he's throwing out runners, trying to get greedy, trying to take that extra base. And as I said, he did a great job, not only this year, but the last 3 years in general. This award goes to Ryan DeFranco. Next award is the Coaches Award. And I think we talked about this for, 2 weeks? Coaches Award, this is always a tough one because when you have this type of team, you want to be able to give 13 awards out because that's what they deserve. It's 13 great kids on this team, as you can see by what we said and what they've said tonight. And if I had 13, I'd give them to you. But I thought this went to a person who showed unselfishness, had leadership and character qualities. Even though he didn't get to play but a couple times this year, he gave all of it, everything, and then some. And he battled back from some trying times, was always on the side of his teammates during practices and games. And he lifted me up when I went to see him in the hospital. This award goes to Don Rosanzi. Finally, the MVP vote, and again, this one was neck and neck. And MVP, again, most valuable player. I believe, in my mind, I'm sure the coaches will agree with me that we had the most valuable team. This team was so great to work with. This award goes to 2 players who their teammates felt gave the most of the program in every way possible. Whether it be leadership qualities, it's based on stats. Of course, there's stats I read earlier today. Leadership, character, and you can see why they have these skills. Come from great families. The most valuable players for the 2000 season, Andy Blazik and Ben Elwell. Closing remarks now. I'll be really short with this. Again, I'd just like to thank the parents for all they've done for us this year, whether it be the banquet tonight, practices,